What calculations is Apple making? Before analyzing the business thinking behind this, we first explain carbon credit, the rise and source of. Under the EU border carbon tariffs, the carbon credit demand for will increase substantially. With the trend of carbon neutrality, companies from all over the world have begun to demand carbon reduction and set the carbon reduction path based on the currently recognized 1.5 degrees Celsius. Purchasing green electricity, improving product efficiency, and even reducing carbon in the upstream and downstream supply chains enable the company to truly achieve its net zero goal. After the signing of the Paris Agreement in 2016, these brand companies may have seen the future of the world, and green power resources have become the battlefield. And Apple's commitment is not only to implement 100% renewable energy by itself, but even nearly 90% of the supply chain will reach 100% renewable energy by 2030. However, despite the use of 100% renewable energy, it is still unable to achieve net zero carbon emissions. The main reason is that there are still greenhouse gas emissions such as refrigerants and heating. The carbon credit is a carbon allowance that is approved by the government and can be emitted. Although global carbon trading, there is no clear consensus on the mechanism. The EU is still based on the European Climate Law. It will announce the EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, the CBAM Act, in July 2021, and it is expected to start trial operation in 2022. This law makes clear management measures against the mechanism of carbon leakage. In addition to the companies that are originally in the EU will face carbon control, other companies that import goods into the EU will also be subject to an additional carbon tax. Industries such as cement, steel, aluminum, oil refining, and papermaking are the first to bear the brunt. This change in regulations has also created huge demand for carbon emission credits for companies that did not apply carbon trading. As the company's demand for net zero carbon emissions continues to increase, the current excess carbon rights will quickly disappear in the past 1 or 2 years. The demand in the next 10 years is expected to increase by 5 times or even 10 times, which will drive prices up. Forest investment is not only a stable return, but also the next wave of potential stocks. So, the next question is, how to obtain these carbon rights? According to Timberland Investment Resources' 2018 research report, there are several common ways to obtain carbon rights, including 59% forest planting, 14% renewable energy, 11% energy efficiency improvement, 9% household equipment use, 4% industrial process improvement, and so on. Among them, the most efficient and the largest proportion is the carbon rights generated by forest management, such as new afforestation, AR, promotion of forest management, IFM, and other methods. In order to create stable returns, traditional forest fund management must obtain income through multiple methods, such as land appreciation, forestry resource income, and even legal conservation easements income. However, due to external conditions such as regulations and climate change, these sources of income have become less stable. Instead, it is carbon offset credits which may provide a stable cash flow. For example, Gresham House, a British alternative asset management company, manages about 140,000 hectares of forest land. Its forest harvest accounts for about 10% of the UK's annual softwood production, and its forestry asset management scale reaches £3.9 billion. Its innovative business model is, in addition to cash, the income distribution of the investor is also given a verified carbon credit, which can be used to offset investors' carbon emissions or for investors to sell. All in all, when the carbon border tax or carbon trading market becomes popular, it will help companies or landowners to transfer part of their asset allocation or business strategy investment to forest protection and tree planting, and to obtain more carbon credits, thereby incentivizing climate action. Invest. While practicing carbon neutrality, it also brings financial rewards to investors. After understanding the importance of carbon credit, look back at this Apple fund. Apple said that the funds will be used to invest in forestland-related projects, prioritizing investment in forestland conservation actions, promoting forest management, such as establishing forest buffer zones or nature reserves, and expects to store 1 million metric tons of carbon dioxide each year through investment. The reason why Apple initiated this fund is related to their commitment to achieve the goal of carbon neutrality in the supply chain by 2030. Apple will reduce 75% of its supply chain carbon emissions by 2030, and the remaining 25% of carbon emissions can be solved by this fund. After the launch of the Restore Fund, many companies, pension funds, asset management companies, and sovereign funds have expressed interest, mainly because this fund can not only sequester carbon dioxide, but also bring financial returns to investors. The return on investment of the Restore Fund does not rely on the sale of carbon credits, but gains from the long-term management of wood products and forests. For investors, in addition to cash remuneration, the fund will also provide investors with a return on carbon credits. Benefit the forest owner from this. In addition to launching funds, some companies also invest in forests through corporate venture capital. For example, BP Venture, a subsidiary of BP, one of its 5 major themes of investment is carbon management, investing in a cost-effective carbon storage model. In 2019, they invested $5 million in finite carbon. In view of the fact that many forest owners do not understand the relevant transactions, they may cut trees at will for profit, causing environmental damage. Therefore, limited carbon helps these people manage forests, not only paying for landowners' cost of not cutting down trees, but also helping them apply for and sell carbon rights. Limited Carbon currently processes approximately 3 million acres of forest, and forest owners have received a total of more than $500 million in return for not cutting down trees. BP Venture acquired a majority stake in Finite Carbon at the end of 2020 and established the Core Carbon platform to assist small-scale forest owners to enter the carbon swap market. Through such cooperation, the business model can be extended to more areas, and the market for voluntary forest carbon credit transactions can be effectively improved.